question is, should we do it in stressful times? Sometimes I just don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? It's tough. And we also know, we discussed this before with my last video talking about OMAD lifestyle, eating 1 meal a day. I love it. Yes, I do. But I do take breaks on the weekends, as I mentioned. But even Monday through Friday, when you're working and all the things that are going on right now in this world, I know you guys are not feeling like yourself, because I'm not. I know I'm a little bit heavier than I had been before pre-pandemic, and it's always been a struggle to get back to my target weight of what I was back then at the beginning of 2020. So why do we have to do it? We really don't. And I want to take into account new people that have come onto the channel to watch some of the videos, and maybe you're a beginner at just doing a 1-day fast. And if you are, this is probably the most exciting time, because when you first start fasting, it's probably the best time where you gain so many benefits that you didn't have before. The weight loss is pretty aggressive. You lose it quickly and faster than any time than I ever did. The body gets used to fasting, and I'm used to fasting every day. So basically 22 to 23 hours a day, 1 to 2 hour eating window, and that's it. I do a lot of damage in that 1 to 2 hour eating window. My body tends to get used to the schedule, and it knows what's coming from day to day. Now, I do my 48-hour fast, I do my 72-hour fast. These are things I've been doing weekly. This week has been a struggle. I just don't want to do a 48, 72, anything longer than what I've been doing on my regular OMAD day. Let's mini fast, shall we? So what is mini fast, you ask? Okay, so many variations of mini fasting. There's so many ways, there's so many names as well. Starting with one of my favorites, a 5-2. So the 5-2 diet, you're actually fasting on 2 days a week, and then the other 5 days you eat your normal way. But what I would do is insert a couple of healthy choices that you can do while you're not fasting on those other 5 days. Something like a Mediterranean diet, or something that is allowing a lot of vegetables to go into your meal, and also just feeling good and eating clean. So that's something you might want to take a look at, is the Mediterranean diet, and see if that's something that fits for you in those days that you're not fasting. Now, on those 2 days of fasting, some people can do it 24 hours, or maybe do an actual 48-hour into the Monday through that Friday. With the 5-2, you can just eat a small meal, somewhere around 500 to 600 calories. Now, there's some studies and some other articles that also say that you can have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 calories. Whatever your normal calorie intake, it all depends on how you want to cut that down. For instance, if you eat 2,000 calories a day, you're going to cut it down in half to 1,000 calories on those 2 days that are considered a fasting day. For me, I would be more extreme and do the 500 to 600 calories max, because I'm already doing 1,300 to 1,400 calories a day on a normal eating day. For me, if I want to make some progression in losing a little bit of weight, you may lose a pound, pound and a half on that day that you reduce your calorie intake. I think that's a fun way of starting out, especially if you're new to fasting, and then you can just work yourself into it slowly. And for those of us that are going through all this stress, we can just take a break a little bit and step back and recalibrate the way your body is feeling and what it thinks and what it believes. Because it knows, if you've been fasting every day like me, it knows what you're going to do the next day and the day after. So it's just used to it. And then it's not going to budge with the weight loss, right? At the same time, you're still eating a little bit through those days that would be considered a fasting day. And that's what I call a mini fast. Alternate day fasting. We talked about this in a couple of my past videos as well. And if you want to click on some of those videos, I'll put that in the description box, or I will have it up here that you can see. You can check out some of those ways that I was doing alternate day fasting. So like the 5-2 diet, alternate day fasting is about having a fasting day every other day. So you eat well and your full intake on one day, and then the next day you're fasting. And then the next day you go back to your regular eating schedule. In this way of mini fasting, you can still have a 500 to 600 calorie meal on the fasting day. That will allow you to ease into the fasting and get more aggressive and gradually get aggressive as the weeks go on and you feel like you need more. Now there's also the warrior diet. Yeah, I just like the name, because I'm God's warrior, therefore eating a warrior diet, it sounds pretty cool, right? All right, so the warrior diet is a 24. So meaning you're fasting for 20 hours a day, and then you have 4 hours to eat in that eating window. So that would allow you probably to have a 2-meal deal or even a meal and a half, so it just spreads it out a little bit further so you don't feel so rushed in that eating window when you're ready to go. It's basically something I would do on the weekends, but I might stretch it into my weekdays. And when I'm taking a little bit of break of the OMAD, or I need to reset the body again, I think a warrior diet's okay. And you're still fasting the majority of the day. You're giving your body a break from the digestion, and you can definitely eat the meal that you want, and maybe 2 meals that you can get in that 4-hour eating window. And then there's the daily intermittent fasting. Maybe you don't want to get out of fasting completely, but you want to do some type of fasting that you are condensing down your eating window. So you can do that 16-8. That's a great place to start as a beginner also. It's more ideal for someone that's never fasted before. You're still giving yourself enough time, like an 8-hour eating window, say for instance 12 to 8 in the evening, and then you shut it down. And you just basically just don't eat breakfast in the morning. And if you can do something like that, that might be great. The kicker to that is probably not to snack in between and just have the 2 meals. I think that's really good, and that will still give you some goals that are reached in a slower manner. Just remember, it's going to take longer to lose the weight. Even if the 16-8 seems a little rough for the beginner and you're someone that eats 3 or 4 meals in a day, well, you can still do things as far as 12 and 12, 12 hours to eat, and you have 12 hours of no eating. And if that's something that you want to try, you should go ahead and do that, and then just pull an hour away every week as you are tightening up that eating window more and more, and then you will see the results pretty quickly at that point. So what I'm thinking is a customized mini fast for myself. It could be a little tough, yes, but it's still good, and I still feel like that I'm making some gains, and also that I'm not abandoning the whole OMAD lifestyle at all. And that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to give your body a break and just pull back a little bit. I was always doing the 48-hour fast a couple of times a week, or 72-hour fast once a week. I just think I'm putting too much pressure on myself these days, especially when you already have a lot of pressure going on now, right? Basically, I'm thinking, because I still want to get rid of some of those nagging pounds, I'm going to eat a 500 to 600 calorie day, like my 1 meal a day, but maybe hold off on a 48-hour fast for a couple weeks and then see where that takes me, because I'm still reducing the calorie intake. Also, on the weekends, I'm kicking it up on the calorie intake, so I'm not getting used to it, right? And then in a week or two, I can go back to my regular fasting lifestyle where I'm always doing extended fasting throughout the week. With this mini fast though, there's still a kicker there. I'm restricting my food. Now, I told you guys that I'm having high cholesterol, and it has gone up since these COVID months. What I'm going to do is restrict a little bit more on red meats right now, and just stick more to the fish and the eggs, which is kind of what I was doing anyway, but it's more vegetarian and being more serious and being more disciplined about the red meat. So basically, I haven't been eating clean as I should be. There was a study About 100 women were in it, and all of them were considered overweight. They were asked to follow a certain diet 5 days a week, which was the Mediterranean diet. The other 2 days, they ate a low-calorie diet that consisted of lean protein, and they cut out most of all of the carbohydrates. At the end of the study, the women that did the 5-2 diet lost the most significant weight compared to the women that were just restricting the calorie intake all week long. And in addition, they had insulin resistance, which improved. And that's huge in my book, because insulin resistant is the reason why we hang on to the weight and we can't seem to lose it, and that we get stagnated. So if you are a beginner and we're talking about the mini fasting, or if you just want to get into living the fasting lifestyle, I do have a guide, a cheat sheet per se, that is free, and that is on my website at regedited.com. Remember, caregiving begins with you, and you have to take care of you first before you can take care of anyone else. And if that means you need to slow down in the fasting, that's okay. Give yourself permission to take a break. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.